Yeah. Y'all like titties or ass?
Okay, hold on.
What's the first thing you do and think of when you wake up in the morning?
Feed my kitties. Wake up, put my underwear on, feed my kitties.
I'm usually trying to decide whether to start with weed or hash.
Mix a drink.
I usually have to go to the bathroom really bad.
Nobody asked you, Randy.
Hot or cold?
This is legendary.
That's weird, Bubs.
We were so proud when they made it on Snoop Show, man.
I'm gonna go cold just because that was so fucked up.
GGN.
I like hot too, Bubs.
Jesus.
Favorite drink? Rum.
Whiskey and Coke.
Straight tequila.
Shirley Temple with vodka.
Shut up.
God.
Favorite sports team?
1985 Edmonton Oilers, Dream Team, Wayne Gretzky.
Big time.
Yeah.
That was a good answer.
That is a good answer.
He went with the great one on your motherfucking ass when they had the dynasty.
99.
85, bitch. I know about it, nigga. I was a youngster, nigga. That's when they called him the great one.
The great one.
They crowned him.
That's right.
99.
This has been another Canadian Heritage Minute, a part of our history, the Trailer Park Boys. I got a story, man, about that. When the Trailer Park Boys were it, I'm talking they were it. They still are. Jono Vision, Jonathan Torrance, who was J-Rock on Trailer Park Boys. At the time I was doing music, and I was working at YTV, and I heard a rumor that night, while I was on shift, Jonathan Torrance is in the building, and he was down getting free coffee down the hallway. I had a CD of mine at the time, my silent music album. I'm going to go give my CD to Jonathan Torrance, Jono Vision, Mr. J-Rock. And I went down there. He wasn't in character. He was just being himself. I handed him a CD. I said, man, Trailer Park Boys this is going to be legendary. This is when it first started. This is going to be legendary. You guys are going to change the game. I handed him a CD, and boom. They certainly did change the game. One of the greatest shows to ever be created in Canadian history. Big salute. Let's go. Welcome to the Ben Stortini Show, where stories drift between worlds and forgotten moments find new life. Let's begin our journey. Let's go. And welcome back, everybody, to the Ben Stortini Show. I'm your host, of course, Mr. Ben Stortini. That's B-E-N-S-T-O-R-T-I-N-I. And how are you today, beautiful people? Let me give you a second or two or three. That's great to hear. And I'm also sad to hear if you're not having a great day. Let's flip that day right now. If you're having a bad day, listen, that's why I'm here. Let's get through this together, and I'm going to turn that frown upside down. All right, let's start. I said last week that I'm getting my washing machine fixed, right? So I had the insurance people come over because I bought that 4-year warranty on that Samsung front loader. That bitch. You bitch you. And so the guy came over, like, yeah, I'm going to need this part, I'm going to need this part. Yeah, these front loaders ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. Said that last episode, right? So they were going to order this part. They were going to come by today to fix it. Allstate Insurance emails me and says, listen, we had a little chat about this shit, and we are just going to offer you to replace the whole goddamn thing. So they're just going to give me a gift card to Home Depot for about $1,600 for what I paid for this. This bitch. I'm just staring at it because it's just... Anyways, and so they're just going to give me a gift card to replace the whole damn thing. So it's beautiful. But that tells you something. Listen, everybody, if you're out here and you want to go buy a new washing machine and dryer, don't go buy the pretty ones. Those pretty looking things when you walk in, like, ooh, that looks good. It looks like my fridge upstairs. That's beautiful. That's got that metallic look. That's beautiful. Front loader. Oh my gosh, it looks like it's from the future. No, it's not from the future. It's from hell, man. You get about 1.5 years, the shit's going to start leaking. Don't buy it. Go for the old school. So what I'm going to go do, I'm going to get a top loader, like a Maytag, something old school. Like, you got any of them yellow joints in the back? Remember the yellow ones from like the 70s and 80s? I want one of those back, man. Just bring that back. Bring that back, Maytag, Whirlpool, that old school, the big drum that just washes. I don't need Wi-Fi. Why do you need Wi-Fi in a washing machine? Just wash my fucking clothes. All right, let's get going. This one's going to be fun. So the name of this episode is Signs. You may not have known that by the title that you see on the artwork or within this episode, which is Choko. That's Japanese for signs, and we'll get into why I did that later. I just realized the other day, let me have a sip of this first. Here we go. It's been 400, I wrote it down, 413 days since the first episode that I did of this show. So last March, early March, I did Who Am I, episode 1. And that's why I'm wearing this hat, because I wore this hat that episode. I was thinking back, like I watched a little bit of it just to like bring me back into my mental space that I was in, because as you know, or for some that don't, who maybe have just found this show and don't know much about it yet, but I made this show, long story short, for basically, I wish I had found this show before I started this, because I was in a spot, man, mentally, physically. I was broken down. I was running too much. I wasn't giving myself enough rest. I was depressed. I was stressed. My grandfather died, who was like my dad, and it all just compounded. And then you talk about leaks in the house, problems in the house. I wasn't handling stress well, and I wish I had found a show where there was just a regular dude like myself, who's a dad, who's got some kids, who's working, who's doing his thing. He's trying to stay active. He's fit. He's doing this. He's doing that. He has a positive attitude, but he's dealing with a lot of shit. And I want to know, like, how do you deal with it? Maybe I'll take some tips from you. Well, that's why I made this show. But I want to look back and see if I've made any progress. And I did. 413 days since I did that first episode. I want to do kind of like a where I'm at. Listen, it all started last weekend, Saturday night. I got a phone call from my best friend Phil, who happened to be staying up in Timmins for the weekend. He didn't go back to Sudbury, and he gave me a call, and he had just took a little bit of mushrooms, so he wanted to have a chat. So we started talking, and anytime I start talking to Phil, he always puts a smile on my face. I love that guy. That's why I call him my best friend. We all need that person in our life who will check you, who will call you out on your bullshit. He's not right all the time, that's for sure. He'll call me out on stuff, but this wasn't one of those conversations. This was one of those philosophical, we're getting older. He just turned 44 yesterday, and it's my sister's birthday today. So happy birthday to my sister. Love you very much, as you know, and I can't wait to be an uncle to your baby girl that's coming in a couple of months. But Phil called me on mushrooms, and we just start talking. Like, I remember when I was calling him when I was on the edge a year ago, like 413 days ago, where I was just so stressed. I was having panic attacks. I don't even like talking about it because it makes me feel like, I could go back there, but I feel like I have control over it. I was talking to him. I said, this is the best I've felt in a very, very long time. And so I wanted to look at it, that question, why do I, because sometimes you have to stop and look like, oh, I'm doing all right now. Like, I'm doing okay. And then we don't usually stop, ask ourselves, well, why am I doing okay? Because I want to keep doing that. I want to keep doing the reason why I feel good right now, instead of just letting it pass by. And then when something hits me that stresses me out, then that's what takes over. I want to look at the signs of why I'm happy, why I feel like I'm doing a bit better. I'm not perfect, that's for sure. I still have my ups and downs, my smiles and cries, but my confidence seems to be back to where it used to be back in the day. And I want to know why. But let's go back and look at the signs. We're going to keep going to the signs in life, man. The signs that the universe places in front of us of why you're acting this way, why you're responding back like that, why your body language is this, and why your eyes say that, and why you're stressing out. What was it that was just had me so stressed out? Whereas now I don't feel the same stress all the time. It was all the time. I'm going to be completely honest with you. As you know with this show, I'm not hiding anything. I thought about it, and it really made sense. Before we had Stello, how do I put this? I want to put this correctly, and I want to put this in a safe place here. A lot of people are having troubles having babies. And we had Luna, and it was about 5 years in, we decided we wanted to have another. We were having a lot of issues and problems with that. And that alone, if any man listening right now has been through that, any woman listening right now has been through that, it's two different stresses for sure for the woman and the man. Combined, it's a very difficult war waged on your life. I look back at that And it was every day, the everyday stresses of it all, because it's like, did you have your period? Doctor's visits, the stress behind that when it doesn't go right, blame starts being tossed around and the stress starts mounting and mounting. And then the normal stresses in life start suck themselves into that vacuum. And then it just pounding on you and pounding on you, and you keep working and you keep going. We're going to have this other baby. And then 2 years of work to have this second child, it finally happens. But there were scars that I didn't deal with. It beat me up. And I don't think I stopped to really look at that and know that that was a big thing that happened in my life that really changed almost my, oh man, it changed me. It was such a big moment. 2 years, every day, every week, constant updates, this and that, and it fucked us up. But then, boom, all of it just came to fruition and we had Stello. But I never dealt with the stress because it kept going. And what I mean by it kept going is that he's 3 now, turning 4. So I was 42, 43 when we had him, something like that. Here's my tip to anybody out there that are going to have some babies. Don't wait until that age to have any kids, man, because it wears you down. Compared to my daughter, this was, man. I've mentioned it before. He is a rhinoceros and he has a lot of work. But what happened was I just held all this stress in the back of my head, and I just kept going at the same pace that I was going before. And I wasn't looking at the signs. I wasn't looking at like, that's what was making you stressed out, or this is what. So it was the little things that started just pounding at me. You know, he's much louder. I like things calm, and things weren't calm. You know, kids being kids, you gotta let them be kids, right? It was just stressing me out. It was getting heavier and heavier. And then it just all exploded. And that's when those panic attacks started happening. You know, I'm going to doctors about headaches. Well, I wonder why you have headaches. And I wonder why, you know, there it is, all this pain in my side. But I was in my own head thinking it's cancer, thinking it's this, blah, blah, blah. It's a torn hip. So I had, you know, the osteoarthritis in the hip because I'm running every day 20 kilometers. Ben, like you did 5,000 kilometers in 2 years. Of course, bud. Like you did this to yourself. And then it's just stress, stress, stress. Boom. You know, my body just kind of said, I've had enough of this. But I didn't look at the signs of what was causing this, the little things. Pause that. It's almost like I had a human oil change. You know, when you take your truck in for an oil change and they're like, they give you a huge list of the things that, you know, to really put your truck back in tip-top shape, right? It's going to cost you a lot, but if you were to do it all, you're leaving the dealership and you're good. I feel like I checked off every single one of those things that I needed to do, and it's just took me a long time to get it all done, but I did it, and I've come out of the dealership, so to speak, feeling really good. I don't want that to pass by quick like it didn't happen. That's why I'm doing this episode. It happened. I feel so much better than I did before. My confidence just feels sky high right now. But why? I feel like I'm noticing when I'm starting to like bubble up like a volcano. It was all day. When the kids were home and they were yelling and screaming and fighting, I wasn't helping the vibe in the house. I was just all day yelling and you got to do this, you got to do that. I wasn't any fun. But now it's like I notice if I start yelling like that, no, stop. There's the sign. Because that little thing right there can start to compound. And then I'm going to start stressing about other things. Washing machines, this, that, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then you start creating things to stress out about, which was like such a thing I would do. Like I would just pound at it. Say like a washing machine, for instance, if there's a little tiny leak, I would come downstairs and watch an entire wash go through, just waiting for that drip to come. No joke. OCD-ish about it, right? But I was doing that to myself, and these are the signs. I have to see it while I'm doing it, recognize that, pull myself out, because this is going to bring you to a real stressful place. And that's what I want to maybe pass your way, is if you're listening right now and you're dealing with a lot of stress in your life and you feel like life is just so heavy on your back, well, that heaviness is the signs in your life. It's almost like the picture, the artwork that I put for this episode. If you're on that alleyway and there's all these signs on each side of your life, the things that are stressing you out are making you happy, get rid of those signs, those things that are stressing you out. Don't let the kids screaming stress you out, because they're kids. Just breathe and just relax. Let them be kids. This too shall pass. They're gonna get older. This is gonna pass. The things that do make you happy, I love doing this show. I love it. It has been one of the greatest things that I've started in my life. It fulfills my creative side that I have in my mind and my body, my soul that I've always had. It gives me a chance to just pour out stuff. And that has been so big for me because it's the recognition, understanding of why I was stressed or why I'm happy. And I'm more looking now at why I'm happy because I want more of that. I want to drink that down more than I was drinking down that dirty sludge before. I was just pouring stress sludge down my throat, just pouring myself, like jumping into a pool of just some bullshit stress. No, man. What I'm realizing at 45 now is to just push that shit away like Minority Report. Like, no, not this, not this, not this, not this. Yes, I want this, I want this. You have the ability to do that. You don't have to let that shit stress you out. You don't have to talk to those negative people because they're just going to make you more negative. Simple things, smiling more and really listening to my body. When I feel like I need a rest, I pull back, I pump the brakes. When before, anybody that knows me, I would just push harder on the gas. So to just kind of wrap this all up, choose happiness over the stress. It's that simple. It's not going to all go away, but what happens is when you do get stressed out, you recognize that and say, I don't want this. That part is simple. You have the choice. I was telling Phil on the phone, he's on the mushrooms. I'm like, listen, we're talking about getting old. I'm like, I'm actually cool with getting old now. I'm that cool old dude now. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be young. I'm just me. I dress the way I dress. I talk the way I talk. I listen to the music that I'm just good with me. Confidence and self-love. That part I was lacking. I thought I had it, but now I feel like I truly do have it. At least I recognize it and it's getting better. I'm not saying that kumbaya, everything's all good. No. I'm working on it, but it's these things that I'm noticing and I'm realizing is my point of all of this. Check the signs and carry on. Speaking of carrying on, let's jump into health here. Let me have a sip of this coffee, this delicious coffee right here. So I said last week, as you know, we were all on this mission together before my St. Martin trip. Got about 3 more weeks after this week is done. I've been on an 8-week cut. And like I said, to the gram with my food, I followed this. It's like I joined the Marines. I'm going hard in the yard and it's working. So I said last week, I had gone into my weigh-in previously. I had not lost or gained any weight. I was 188.8 pounds. And I went into last Friday's weigh-in. And I thought I'd probably lost maybe a pound. And I am down to 186.6. So I lost about 2.2 pounds. And I knew it. I could feel it. You know, I was holding water before and now I'm not. Well, I wasn't when I weighed in. So it is working. My plan is to be about 100. I'd said 182, but I think I want to be more around like 184, 183, 184 before we leave for our trip. That's my goal. So we will see. So tomorrow is my next weigh-in and we will see where I'm at with that. This week, actually, my body needed rest. I spoke about listening to my body Monday, Tuesday. I was just exhausted. I got into the gym on Monday and I just didn't have it. And that doesn't happen to me much. I pushed through it. It was after leg day. Leg day was on the Sunday and I went in Monday. I don't know what I was doing, but I just didn't have it. I went through it. I finished it up. I wouldn't let that stop me, but you know what I mean? I was lacking. So I made sure I got a lot of water in me, made sure I just kept eating, didn't change any of the food that I was eating, but I just made sure I just didn't overdo it then on my cardio in the afternoon. And I kind of just balanced it out and sure thing. You know, my resting heart rate had been up that day and there was a lot of factors, stress. Next day I got it back on track and here we are. So feeling good. I'm excited. Yeah. Ready for this trip. This winter has been a long ass winter. And I'm just ready to jump on that white sand. If it weren't for my kids, I would just go jump in that water naked, man. You know what I'm saying? Just let it all out. The water is my release. On that note, let's go switch some worlds. You heard me. This week's going to be a little different. I want to give a shout out to 2 countries that just so happen to be exploding as new listeners with this show. Japan and Vietnam. So I want to give some love right back to you. Japan, and Vietnam. And this is for you first, Japan.
美しい国、日本から来てくださった新しいリスナーの皆さん、本当にありがとうございます。感謝の気持ちは言葉では言い表せないほど、本当に大きな意味があります。改めて感謝申し上げます。そして、皆さんのことが大好きです。
I basically right there just said thank you so much for checking in on this show, and it means a lot. I've been there once. I was on a stopover while traveling to Thailand, I believe it was, and we stopped over, Sharon and I, in Tokyo, Japan, and that city was so clean and beautiful, and it just had that vibe. Like, I love the movie Lost in Translation. That is just one of my favorite movies, and to be there and to step foot in the head, it was just my kind of city. So one day I'll definitely head back there. And I tried to do that for Vietnamese as well, for my new Vietnamese, the listeners from Vietnam. But for some reason, Google Translate can't seem to do the talk function. So I will just do it myself. Thank you so much, everybody from Vietnam that has checked in on this show. It means a lot. Thank you so much. And yeah, I love you. And welcome back, everybody. And this is another edition of the Stortini verse. And for you that don't know what the Stortini verse is, simply what it is weekly, each show, at the end of the show, around this time, I suggest a little bit of music that I love. I then play it for you and see if your ears enjoy it and your ears want to party. And if they do, then join the party. Number 2, I suggest a documentary, or I talk about the book that I'm reading. And then lastly, I send you off to your weekend, your beautiful weekend, with a challenge. And I leave you with that. So let's get this started. The Stortini verse. So this week for music, also, let me pause that for a second. I was thinking about this today. I have a playlist on my Spotify of all this music I've ever put on this show, but also music I haven't put on the show yet. But it's more of like a soundtrack of my life or of this show. I'm going to put the link to that. So if any of you want to listen to some of the music, or listen to this playlist that I've made for this show, jump on in. So if you have Spotify, so I'll put the link in the description. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So the first one is this, The Clash. Now, I'm not a huge Clash fan, but I am a fan because they changed the game. I was introduced to The Clash through the Sandinista album because I was told, I think you'll like this. And that person who suggested it to me was right. And this is the tune that I enjoy the most from that album. It is called Junko Partner. Let's go. Partner. Loaded. Beat. Out. Knocked out, loaded. Wobbling. What a voice. What a vibe. I played this in the truck the other day. In Angola. And my daughter goes, what is this? So this is The Clash. What a vibe. That's timeless music right there. You go jump into The Clash, you just feel that vibe. They had their own thing. Let's just say that. They had their own thing. So big shout out to The Clash, and big shout out to that album specifically. I love that album, Sandinista. And the second tune we are going to do, let me just throw this up here. This one right here, Bobby Caldwell. Some would call him the cool uncle, man. And he is the cool uncle. And a lot of people, they don't listen, they haven't really stopped and jumped and did a dive into the Bobby Caldwell cauldron of tunes. And this one right here, I dare you. Listen, I'm going to take this picture off for a second. I dare you to cue up this tune and play it in your car or your truck a little bit loud. Because this one right here, this is some cool uncle shit right here. Listen to this. This one's called Carry On. Let me just I'm gonna bring that back. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Like, it is that good. Carry on, Bobby Caldwell. Smooth isn't the word. The Cat in the Hat. Scold you, baby. But the years are moving fast. Good Lord. He's right.
And it comes as no surprise to me. There's nothing left for you. So I offer my philosophy, the one thing you should
Do.
carry on. Though it may be hard to understand, you've got to
Carry on. Good Lord. Carry on. That is cool uncle music right there. Show up at a family reunion. You know, oh, I think Uncle Ben's on his way. I can hear him down the street. Uncle Ben's coming. How do you know? Listen close. Yeah, he just parked. Uncle Ben, is that you? I'm here. The Cat in the Hat. Look him up, Bobby Caldwell. That tune right there is one of my favorite tunes of his. But yeah, check him out. Bobby Caldwell, The Clash. I was going to do Johnny Cash, but I'm going to hold on that because I got somebody real special coming next episode. I'll just leave it at that. So I want to leave some of my favorite guitar tunes to that episode. So yes, The Clash and Bobby Caldwell. Check them out. For the documentary or the book, I wasn't sure where we're going to go. I am going to go with another Untold. It's the Untold series that's on Netflix. And they did one on the Portland Trailblazers 99-2000 team, the Jailblazers. Damon Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace, Bonzi Wells, Zach Randolph. Who else did they have? Ruben Patterson, Sean Kemp. Like, this was the team. You look back and honestly, I'm not even mad at their GM. Portland got real mad at their GM, but the best point of it all is that if they would have won that championship, they would have went down as one of the greatest teams in history. And he brought up a good point. There's only a few teams in history in the NBA that have monikers. So you have the Showtime Lakers, you have the Bad Boy Pistons, and you have the Jailblazers. He did something right. I don't care what anybody says, man. And the best part is there's 2 stories on there, but the one that really had me in tears, I had to watch it too. I ran it back. I even went and got my lady. I'm like, you got to watch this. She didn't find it as funny as me, but when Sheed's telling the story about when him and Damon, which is funny, his nickname was Big. Damon Stoudemire's, we called him Mighty Mouse here in Toronto, but his nickname was Big. So him and Rasheed and Big were in the yellow Hummer. They're driving back from a game, and they just lit up. And they were smoking. The music that they used. Hold on, I gotta tell this story to this right here. Where is it? So they're in the yellow Hummer. They're just driving back from a game. Rasheed Wallace. You got Sheed in the back. You got Damon Stoudemire. They got somebody driving them. And they roll up and they start smoking. And they're getting high as hell, right? And the team bus is just driving right behind them too, a few kilometers back. But they happened to, the guy that was driving them was driving too fast, and they got pulled over in the middle of the night. And they're high as hell. And the best thing is Rasheed telling this story. And they had the Cypress Hill tune playing. The editor of that documentary for this part needs a goddamn raise. It was incredible the way they cut it up. You have to watch it just for this scene. Him explaining it, right? And so they're standing out with the police and they're high as hell. All of a sudden the team bus pulls up and is driving behind them and just drives by. And the way that she was saying it, that was in slow-mo. And the bus drives by super slow, and he could see all his teammates, and he's like, I could feel what they were thinking at that moment. And then it was in the news the next day. But big shout out to the Portland Trailblazers. I'm not calling them the Jailblazers. Big shout out to that team. Rasheed Wallace, all those guys. Bonzi Wells, Damon Stoudemire, Ruben, all those guys, man. Zach Randolph, who happens to be one of my favorites. Old school, man. He knocked out Ruben Patterson. He sucker punched him, and then they said they went back to his car, and he had a pistol in his car with one in the chamber. And they said he smelled like weed. Zach Randolph, man. Zach Randolph, Tony Allen. Anyways, I don't want to get into basketball, but big documentary. Go check it out. Netflix, Untold Jailblazers. All right, let's jump into the challenge. And in this, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the challenge, but I'm going to do this again because I feel like I have to keep pushing this, and I want to keep pushing this. I'm going to put the link in the description. I challenge you this weekend. Add this into your routine of life. Like Manny Capango on the last episode, 1 or 2 ago, Sent to Serve, which was still, I love that episode. He mentioned his challenge was to do 50 to 100 push-ups every single day for the rest of your life, right? Well, I want this to be in your routine for the rest of your life. I don't want you just doing it this weekend. Do breathing exercises, meditation or breathing exercise. I'm going to put the link to the one that I do, the Wim Hof. It's only 11 minutes of your day. I want you to try it, and I want you to try to implement it into your life's routine every single day. Find a moment in your day to do that. The best thing is it used to just, when I did it, it would calm me and it put me in a good spot, right? I do it right before I go to sleep, right before I read, and then I go to sleep. Now, when I'm doing it, I can sort everything out in my brain. So you do the breathing and then you do the hold. You do like a 1:30 hold. I'm thinking about everything. Everything seems clear to me in that moment, and I just find answers. Oh, that I got the answer for that. And this is only in the matter of like a 1:30. So it does so much good. Check the signs and carry on, man. Add this into your routine. So breathing exercise, Wim Hof, do it. And lastly, we're going to end this off with this. I'm excited. Check my smile. I'm excited. Because this weekend I have my own. The lady is going with her friends and they're going out of town. They're having a little ladies weekend. I am with the kids. I'll tell you something, man. I'm looking forward to this shit. So tomorrow night she's leaving. I'm going to put the kids to bed and I'm going to go check that new AI doc that is ready to roll on Apple TV. I think it's called AI Apocalypse. You know that movie that came out in the 80s about nuclear war? It came out on ABC. I think 100 million people watched it or something like that. They say this is that version for AI, this movie. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to order my pizza. I haven't figured out which one yet. North of Brooklyn or One Night Only. I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards, I think, North of Brooklyn just because I had One Night Only last week. We'll see. Love their hot sauce. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to pound the food into myself and I'm going to watch that documentary. Can't wait. And then the Raptors on Saturday start their playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I'm going to call it right now. If it would have been any other team, I think we would have gotten, I think we got blown out. But I think they have a chance to win this. So I'm going to say Raptors in 7. Raps in 7. All right. So, yeah, let's end this. Man, I want you to go into your weekend, do that breathing exercise. I want you to wake up in the morning and have a cloth ready, a clean cloth, and wash your face. First thing you do, wash your face. And if you leave the house, make sure your hair's brushed, make sure you look kept, and make sure you're clean. Put some deodorant on. Never leave your house stinking, okay? Whenever I leave and I'm around someone who smells, you had a chance to fix this. What was more important in your life this morning to not avoid stinking and coming out into the general public stinking like the way you do? You smell like the inside of your ass right now. Why? Why didn't you just stop that? Why didn't you do something to clean this up before you left? So don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Make sure you smell good. Make sure you feel good. Smile. Look in the mirror and just smile. You are a beautiful person. You are a beautiful person, and I'm not letting anybody stress me out today. Nothing's going to stress me out. Listen to Bobby Caldwell. Carry on. All right, check the signs and carry on. Japan, Vietnam, I love you. Thank you so much. The crazy part is, how are those two countries consuming this show more than my own country of Canada? That's wild, isn't it? On that note, go into your weekend, enjoy it, and don't forget. This is the biggest part of the whole thing. Don't ever forget that this guy right here, he loves you. Oh, that was fun. Thank you for taking the time to jump in the portal with me. But do me one favor, alright? Hit subscribe on Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and leave a 5-star review so the algorithm kisses this podcast and sends it out to the streets looking good, because that's how it works. Have a great weekend, and please don't ever forget, I love you. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing before we go. I wanted to mention this with the whole AI thing. I'm going to sit down and watch that AI documentary. With AI just exploding, and there was this guy, there was a story that came out. I'm gonna try to make this quick because the show's over, but there was some guy in California that literally made a business with him and one other dude, and it was all AI. It has something to do with general practitioners and drugs being prescribed. Anyways, made a ton of money, but it was all AI. He's getting sued for some shit, blah, blah, blah. Everything going AI. I want to double down on anybody out there that is staying human and staying true to themselves and doing something that fills that part in their soul, that fills that part in their heart that is real. Like I do this show, this feels real. I'm just letting it out. I'm letting my heart bleed on this show. I'm being me. I'm being honest. I'm being true. And I want everyone else to do something in their life as well that makes them feel that way, because people are being pulled one way, it seems this way, and people are being pulled the other way, it seems that way. Kind of goes along with the whole show premise of the signs that we're seeing down the street. Some are good, some are bad, right? Be careful out there, and let's not forget who we are. We are human beings, and we are meant to smile. We are meant to cry. We're not meant to be numb, and we're meant to be humans. We're not meant to be told what to do, and we're meant to have our own opinions. It shouldn't come down to a prompt. Use it as a tool, and don't let this shit consume you, okay? Stay you.